It's been a minute, hasn't it? Actually, it's been almost a year. A year, I believe the end of May last year in 2020. Wow, 2020 was an interesting year, wasn't it? Um, I know that we spent a lot of time at home, and I quit recording because of some issues. By the way, my name is Maria, and welcome to my channel. I am a multi-crafter, as you can probably tell, and I love all things color. And I actually really enjoy knitting and stitching and sewing. Um, Not clothing, but sewing. Depends on what kind of, whatever I'm inspired to do. But welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. And just to give you a little bit of backstory, last year was, as you know, COVID, so we spent a lot of time at home. But I started developing some issues with my left shoulder, and it was becoming more and more painful. And I ended up um, going to see my internist or GP or whatever, and they thought it was bursitis, but it did not resolve with a cortisone shot. So I ended up getting a referral for physical therapy, and she evaluated and said it was basically a just shy of a torn rotator cuff. So I had to quit stitching for quite a while. It was about 6 months before I started stitching again, and about December, actually November, December, I started picking things back up. But during that time, I had to take about 2 months off, and then I ended up doing more sewing, and I picked up knitting more, and I couldn't knit for a long period of time, but um, I gradually tolerated that more. And finally in December, November, December, I started picking up cross stitch again, which has been really enjoyable. But meanwhile, I have all the things. Um, did not start purchasing, so I have a lot of charts I need to catch up on. So this year, I've actually been not doing as many starts. I've been focusing more on my whips, and I know I've done one new start for sure. I may have done another new start. It was more for a gift, but I decided to put it aside and do something different. But let's get down to business, okay? Shall we? Let's talk about finishes first, and we'll start with cross stitch. So I have a book that I had started back a long time ago. Um, Not all of my whips are in here. I then changed to just taking pictures, so at least I have some kind of documentation. But mine are just in a composition book. And just to mark my place, I pulled out my little quilter's clips just to hold on to, because I don't have any uh, other kinds of clips, paper clips. So to start with, um, I have a finish that I had done years ago. I started and finished this back in 2017. I used, this is called Plum Street Samplers 1831 Christmas. The colors are not quite right, but they're close. And this is showing up, it's more of a rusty color than a pinky color. So anyway, that's more accurate, this color. That's the back. I actually had this finished back in December of 2017, and it was all stitched, and I just had not stuffed it. And it sat in its finished pile for 4 years. So actually I finished, not quite 4 years, but I finished this in January of this year. I had a day with some friends where we did a Zoom finishing day, and this was one of my items that I finished. So it is stitched on Vintage Light Exemplar by Lakeside Linens, 36 count, 1/2. So that was a fun stitch too. And then some more of my finishes. This is Forest Snowfall by Country Cottage yeah. And it is Country Blue 28 count by Yarn Tree. And I think I used some of the called for and some of DMC. As you can tell, it's done in a frame. I can't see what I'm showing you, sorry. I finished this back in 2018, and I finally fully framed it in January. This was a markdown clearance frame that had some writing in behind it, and I just did foam core, and I made some cording in a color that goes with the frame color. It's kind of a sagey greeny. It complements the chart, and I used that just to kind of give it a little bit of a finish, and it turned out really nice. I love how it finished. Let's see if you can see. See, isn't that gorgeous? I just love how that turned out. So that is, again, Forest Snowfall, I believe Country Cottage Needleworks, stitch 2/2, and I finished it in January of 2018, and I framed it January of 2021. So it is fully done, and it is actually hanging up in our bedroom. So that was another finish. And then I have this little pillow is Pumpkin Spice Farm by Hands On Design. This is stitched on 25 count dark chocolate Lugana, stitch 1/1, and I finished it. I don't know when I finished the stitching. I started it back in 2018, and I finished it in January of this year, fully finished it. And I love how this turned out. It is a very firm pillow, and I had some fabric in my stash, and then I used a complimentary little blue piece of fabric that I made like a little sashing strip. So just a little tiny pop of color there. So that turned out really cute, I think. So I'm putting things down as I'm finishing them. So the next finish was one that I actually finished today. It's not the next finish, but it is the next one in my book, so I can keep track of where I'm at. This is Wilhelmina by Plum Street Samplers, and it's from Jack's Sweet Shop, and it is stitched in on 1/2 on 36 count antique ivory, and I may have changed the colors a little bit, but I actually ordered the frame from Signed and Numbered, and I got it today. So this is fully finished. I just popped it into the frame, and I love this. It turned out so cute. It has some dimensionality, and I just love how this turned out. So that's going to go on the wall. The next piece is this piece by Tracy Horner, Ink Circles, and this is called Modern Nordic. I finished this, there we go. I finished this in January as well. This is stitched on 28 count Jovelin, and the color thread is 4517, which is a DMC variegated, and I just love how this turned out. I did it on point rather than this way, and I also made the cording and just finished it up. Super easy, so much fun. Love how that turned out. Last but not least is From Me to Thee. This is from Deck the Halls by Blackbird Designs. It's the little book of strawberries and various other things. This is my strawberry that I finished, and this thing is packed. There you go. You can kind of see how it's finished. This is stitched on 30 count apricot by R&R. This is not the called for fabric. It is the called for threads and DMC. And I found a piece of wool. It's burgundy wool, and then a vintage button. And this is just like a little embroidery stitch and buttonhole stitch and stuff. So yeah, I love how this turned out. It was stitched in 2018. So I haven't done much finishing in a while, so I'm catching up. Anyway, those are my finishes. And as far as cross stitch is concerned, at Christmas time, I have some vintage embroidery. I'm not ancient, but I don't know when I did this, but I decided I wanted to make a pillow out of one of the embroidery pieces that I had. And this was a month, it was once a month, like a mystery embroidery kit thing that you pre-ordered. And I had gotten this back in the 90s from a local quilt shop, and it was for a quilt pattern and you put them all together, but I chose to not do that. So I made a pillow out of this one. This was December's, and this was before I figured out that my threads would show when I put it together. So if I had put something behind it, it would not have shown a different color fabric, but I chose to just go ahead and finish it this way. But this is just some green buffalo plaid and some other fabric that I had in my stash. And then these little fabric pieces, sorry, there you go. And then little French knots all over, and X's and all kinds of different embroidery stitches. So, and then just little fabric scraps. I love how this turned out. It was a fun embroidery piece. And then on the back, I did a zipper with a little pocket. So there's a zipper back there. So I can change it out, put something else on it if I decide to. So that is my stitching related finishes. I do have some knitting finishes. I think I had shown you progress on my Find Your Fade cardigan by Andrea Mowry, and she has her patterns available on Ravelry, and they are, I had started this, it's been probably a couple years, so I wanted to get it finished so I could wear it. So this is my cardigan. It's more tealy than it's showing up, and then I've got some really deep teal here. You can't really see. It's showing more blue, but there's more teals to it. Let's see. No, it's not showing. I can't get it to show. Anyway, it's okay. It turned out gorgeous, and I'm very proud of it. I've worn it several times. It was not warm enough when we had um, the snow apocalypse here in Texas, in North Texas. Well, actually, all of Texas in February. But I have worn it several times since then and before then. So um, then in August of last year, Casapinka, who is another designer, did a mystery knit along. Y'all know about mystery stitch alongs, and it's very similar. You don't know what you're getting or what you're going to do, but I love her pattern. She's always so fun and cheerful, and I was in the mood to learn something new, and so I decided to dive in and do the Sharon Show shawl. And this was my shawl. That color here is a teal. It is not, like I said, it's showing up more charcoaly. See if I can turn the light down just a little. Oh, there, maybe. There it is. There's the colors. So you got something each week, and we started out doing little bits of stuff, and then we moved on. Moved on. It's very long. And moved on. So that's half of it. And then you go to the other side, and there's more. This was so much fun to do. And those of you that are knitters that like spontaneity and challenges, this is a good way to learn how to do a variety of stitches, is to do a mystery knit along, because you never know what you're going to get. They just tell you, well, you need this much yarn and this many colors, and so that's kind of what I did. And so then, because I enjoyed it so much, I decided I was going to do the my secret handshake cowl. And this yarn, those yarns, I don't remember even who those are by. There's some silk in one of them. There's some cashmere in another one. So I couldn't tell you. Um, these yarns are by, one is Foxbane Fibers. It's this light, this is the variegated skein, and it's not showing up very well. There's greens and pinks, and it is just, the colors are really gorgeous in that particular skein. And then these are Chick Ashby yarns, and they're both local dyers, but this was my cowl. You could make it as long or as deep as you wanted to, but I chose to not make it quite as long. But anyway, it's got some fun stitches. So, and I don't know the names of all of them, but yeah, you can see a little bit of the pink and the greens and stuff. This was a fun knit. Look at these. They look like crow's feet, kind of. Yeah. So those were two of my secret knit-alongs or mystery knit-alongs that I did last year. And I did some Christmas knitting and sewing and, yeah, lots of stuff that I don't have anymore that at one point I might have showed you. But anyway, they're long gone now. So in January, I started a sock challenge called the Rainbow Sock Chronicles. It is a once a month challenge, and you knit a certain color of socks each month, and they've written out what color you're supposed to knit. And I started those in January, and I believe it is by Lay Family Yarns and So Sweet Violets, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I will look that up and try and put the information underneath. And so I actually, I've knit 4 pairs of socks already this year, which has been, excuse me, which has been a lot of fun. These were my January socks. These are a pinky purpley color. It's a light pink with pops of bright pink. Let's see. There you go. This is, oh, that's pretty close. This is a vanilla sock pattern by Louise Wildflower Wool. The pattern is called Super Simple Socks. She and Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts did video tutorials back several years ago, and they are all linked together on Caroline's YouTube channel. And if you want to go learn how to do socks, this is a great pattern to learn how to do that with. These were my vanilla socks. That pink here is way more vibrant. Let's see if I get closer. It shows still pinky, but not, it's more bubblegum pink. So anyway, and then these are March's socks. They were orange. And so I actually, this is Hermione's Everyday Socks. And I love the texture on these. And they do a Eye of Partridge heel, modified. But that was a fun pattern to do. And then this month, I started out doing a pattern from Think Outside the Socks. This was a gift to me from my friend Kim. And the pattern is called, it's a color work pattern. It's got, this is an interesting book. Not sure I'm going to do a lot of socks in this book. However, this is called Fair Isle Made Easy. Oops, you don't want to see that part. There. Sorry for the glare. There you go. Fair Isle Made Easy. Yeah. I started, and it took me a bit. Took me a long time to do one sock. And this was basically all I was working on when I was doing any kind of knitting. And because of that, because it took me so long, I decided I needed to deviate from the original plan. You know. So anyway, I did finish one sock. And I do like how it turned out. But I wanted to finish it this month rather than wait until May or sometime later, because I was getting frustrated. It took me a long time to do this. I'm not a continental knitter, and I can hold yarn in both hands because I am a crocheter. I just have not mastered the continental knitting, and so I end up being a thrower. I think that's what it's called. And so the yarn is actually quite pretty. This is the solid is Cascade Heritage, and it is in the colorway number is 5752 if you're interested. Reminds me of honey. The other color is by October House Fiber Arts, who is also a cross-stitch designer. And this color is called Honey Jar, and it is very pretty. So this was my main color and my contrast color. And I will come back to these. I just needed a break from the color work. So we'll revisit that at a later date. So maybe you'll see them again at some point. So, but anyway, I went on, I decided back around the 17th, I think it was, that I needed to put those aside and do something different. And so I started these, I believe, on the 18th or 19th. And these are called the Prairie Socks. These are by Bakery Bears. The yarn is called Love Your Smile. It is by Dye to Spin. She is a local indie dyer, and it is an exclusive colorway available at Juju Knits. It is kind of it's a golden yellow with pops of a peachy kind of sherbet color, like somebody called it on Instagram. And I love how these turned out. I love the texture of them, and they kind of almost remind me of a mock cable. So isn't that pretty? This was a fun knit and did not take me 2 weeks to do one sock. So I've got both pairs done and I met my April goal. So I'm going to start my May goal beginning in May. But so that is my finishes for most of this year. And I have some finishes. Those are all my fully finishes. So let's go to my finishes. This is Faith. Let me find something to cover it with so you can actually see it. This is Faith by Country Cottage Samplings. This is from their bird series. They did a bird series once a month, or I can't remember. This was their blue jay. Well, the pattern I believe is called Faith. Anyway, I really like all of these. I actually have all of them, and I hope to stitch majority of them. This one is probably going to be a banner type thing, and I'm looking forward to getting it finished. So hopefully I will have that finished in the next few weeks. The next one is Sweet William by Summerhouse Stitchworks. This came out last market, and I believe this was the Ladies Garden Journal series, and she had it in a booklet, like a little booklet form. I haven't decided how I'm going to finish it. This is done on 32 count Confederate gray, I believe, and the called for colors. Just a second. I think I have it written down here. Yep, 32 count Confederate gray, called for colors. And I finished this in February. The last one is one that I had had for a while, and I don't know when I started it or finished it. This is just Texas. I believe this is, I can't even remember who the design company is. But anyway, I will try and put that information below. And I believe I used the called for colors on that. The little charm came with it, the little longhorn. So those are my finishes. Now let's go on to my whips. And let me just hang these back on their hanger. I store my finished items on a hanger so that they don't get all wrinkledy. That's what that noise is. They've been ironed and they are ready to fully finish. So I can actually, when I'm ready to finish something, I can just grab it and start. That's how I finished Wilhelmina so quick, because she was ready to go when my frame came. So anyway, whips. let's look at whips. So I had intended to work on a number of different things this month for cross stitch. I had looked at Lisa Kindred Stitcher's video back a month or so ago, and she had talked about how she'd put everything in a spreadsheet and then decided what um, she was going to focus on. Well, I put everything in a spreadsheet, and then it was really hard to decide what to focus on. I had like probably 15 projects sitting here that I was going to focus on for like 4 months. No, that didn't happen. I've probably picked them up. I haven't picked them all up yet. So anyway, I have picked up a few though. So I had picked up one that I started last year was a mystery stitch along by Satsuma Street, and it is her Alice in Wonderland. And I have picked that up. I finished one block and started another block, but I haven't finished them all yet. Now that it's all fully done, I can actually go ahead and focus and move colors around. So I have this block right up here and then the other two to finish. All the other ones I believe are fully finished. So that's exciting to actually have it getting close. Hopefully I'll get that one done before too long. And it is in a fun bag that I made, well, it's been a couple years ago now. I do the vinyl fronted bags and the fabric on the back. Isn't that fun? It kind of is appropriate for Alice. And another one that I had pulled out and been working on was A Savior's Praise. Admittedly, I have not worked on this in the last month, but I was working on it pretty consistently in January and February. And this is where I'm at. I'm actually farther. Let's see if I can pull it up all the way. There you go. I believe I am working, this is on 36 count Sea Fog by R&R, and I'm doing this 1/2, and I love this piece. I am enjoying stitching on this piece, and it is just, it's very relaxing and enjoyable, and there's a lot of interesting motifs in it. It's a really pretty design. I know most of y'all have seen it. So it looks like that. Sorry for the glare. And then the last one, let me see, where is Brown Bird? Oh, not the last one. This is Modern Folk Embroidery, Spring Blossom. Excuse me. On the Bloom, and the color thread is a silk by Mrs. Sadis called Darling. No, this isn't Darling. This is Popcorn. There you go. In looking at it, I kind of got in right here. I didn't pull. I'm going to pull out some of this and change a bit some of the motifs to pull some blue back in. But it is almost halfway. If I wasn't having to pull some out, it would be basically halfway. But I love this piece. And that is not showing the color as well as it could be. But that's all right. I'll get this. I got a new camera, so we'll get that sorted and it will be better. Plus, it's a very cloudy day here. It's been cloudy and rainy the last couple days. So I am looking forward to the sun coming back out. Then the other project that I've been working on is Brown Bird Biscornu by Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery. It's, let me pull the picture out. Sorry. Crinkle, crinkle. There you go. Brown Bird Biscornu by Heartstring Samplery. And mine is being stitched on 36 count R&R Old Mill. She calls for 40 count. I decided to do 36 count. I kind of enjoy 36 count. And this is where I'm at. I've gotten a lot of progress. I have the birds to do. There's a few other things that I've still got to do in it, as you can tell from the pattern, but it's mostly just the bird. Mostly just the bird to finish. And I've got 4 birds to do, so I've made a start. And that's exciting. So I do stitch mostly in hand. Occasionally I will do in a Q-snap or a hoop, but most of the time it's in hand. So I'm going to keep working on that. And then knitting, I have a pair of socks I've got to do, and I'm going to start my May socks with this yarn. Oh, that's actually pretty close. It's a little brighter green. But this is the Mace of Skeins. Actually, I'm holding it upside down, aren't I? Can't get used to this. There you go, Mace of Skeins. She is a local dyer, and this is called Look of the Irish. And I picked this up at Juju Knits. So those will be my May socks. And I am going to be working on my other sweater. This is a new start to me. I started this in January or February. I have it written down. I'm just not going to spend time looking for that. And this is called the 1979 Raglan. The pattern is available on Ravelry, and it looks like there's a lot of information on it in her pattern. Anyway, the pattern is called 1979 Raglan, and this is my colorway. Now this is it is a purpley, but not as purple as that's showing. It is more of a pinky purple. So this is my first full regular sweater. This is actually done in sport weight because it's too hot here to wear a worsted weight. And this is done in Cascade yarns. Super easy pattern. It's just a straight knit, and it's been a lot of fun just to put it together and get my colors right. And this is also a navy. This is not a black, even though it's reading black. It is a lot of fun to do. So I'm almost to where I get the sleeves on. So getting close. And then, so that's that. And then I have a hat that I'm working on that I'll probably keep picking up periodically. I haven't been working on it a lot. This is called the Weekender. Love the cables on this. Isn't that pretty? Sorry. All right, let's look at it this way. There. It's it's like a cranberry red, but not quite. It is actually, that's showing up pretty good. It's a little deeper red, but it's fun. I'm enjoying that. Um, and I am going to do a new start. I'm late to the game, but I am starting, it is called Nights. Just a second here. Looking on my iPad. Where is it? The Knights Who Say Knit. It's a secret knit along. Um, it's a reference from the Holy Grail movie, Benny Hill. Anyway, um, I have it in my little bag here, Fringe Supply Company, and I chose the shrubbery color. I'll see if I can pull out these and hold them all up at one time. That will be fun. I did it. All right, let's see here. Okay, the colors are not showing very well. That is a tealy green, and these are more greens, and this is looking more gray brown. Anyway, you will get to see this again because I am planning on starting it this weekend. I am behind, but that's okay. I decided I was going to go ahead and start and have fun. So that's a new start. So that one's coming, and you'll see that at some point. And let's move on to, I'm going to keep working on whips. I may do a new start for my birthday. I have not decided for sure which one I'm doing. It's possible I may actually start, just a second, I am looking it up. Flora Graphica. I had to look up the name. I couldn't remember the name. Sorry, Jan. Anyway, y'all are probably familiar with it. If you're not, go look at Jan Hicks Creates on her Etsy shop or her website, Mad for Yarn. Or if you just type in Jan Hicks Creates, it will go to her website or it will pop that up. Anyway, it is a beautiful piece, and I am actually considering starting that one for my birthday during the month of May. That would be my new start for May. However, I have a lot of whips. And speaking of whips, if y'all want me to, I will do a whip parade. I haven't decided. Just let me know down below if y'all would be interested in seeing my whips because I do have a lot. And so let's go on to Stitchy Kindness or kind gifts, gift kindness. Friend of mine gave me this sweet little, it's almost like a doily. It's actually a washcloth, but it can be used as a doily or um, you can put your cold drink on it and it will keep it from getting a ring or whatever. It's made out of cotton yarn, and she knit this up and gave me this yesterday along with this sweet little box. Isn't that fun? It's got band-aids in it, which I know I'll use, and then I'll use the container too. Thank you, Lori. And then some other stitchy kindness. Um, this is, y'all know these patterns. These are the Animal Stackers by Plum Street. I know that's not what the name is. This is the foxes, obviously. And my friend Kim gave this to me last year for my birthday. We didn't actually get together for my birthday because it was during COVID. But I saw her at some point and she gifted this to me, and it has a little inside. Isn't that sweet? And then a little pull-out drawer.